Stop and ask yourself one question. Why does earning your first $100,000 feel like a 10-year war, while earning the next million feels like a walk in the park? Is it because the rich are 10 times smarter? No. It's because you are fighting a law of financial physics that is designed to keep you at zero. Think about it. If you have $5,000 and you work your heart out to get a 10% return, you've made $500. That's not a life change. That's a grocery bill. But if you have $1 million and you do absolutely nothing but get that same 10%, you've made $100,000. The system doesn't just reward the rich. It actively punishes the beginner. Until you hit that $100,000 mark, you aren't building a career. You're trying to launch a space shuttle with the parking brake on. This is the invisible psychology of a world built on wage slavery. You aren't failing because you lack effort. You are failing because your money mindset is being sabotaged by a game where the rules of gravity only apply to you. I'm Philly. I perform surgery on the mental scripts that keep you broke while the 1% reach orbit. If you're done being a passenger in a life driven by your own biological errors, pay attention. We're about to debug the future they're stealing from you. Let's get to work. Think about a space shuttle sitting on the launch pad. To get that massive machine into orbit, it consumes 90% of its total fuel supply in the first 2 minutes of flight. It's shaking, it's burning millions of pounds of propellant, and it's fighting against the massive invisible pull of Earth's gravity. For the first few miles, it looks like it's barely moving despite the incredible energy being expended. Getting to your first $100,000 is exactly like those first 2 minutes of a rocket launch. You are burning 90% of your life fuel, your time, your energy, and your labor, just to break the gravitational pull of broke. At this stage, your money is doing zero work. If you have $5,000 and it grows by 7%, you made $350. That's not even a weekend's worth of groceries in 2025. It feels insulting. It feels like a waste of time. This is where the invisible psychology of failure kicks in. Because you don't see the needle moving, your brain assumes the effort isn't worth it. You think, why save $500 this month? It doesn't change my life. So you spend it. You buy the dopamine hit. You buy the new shoes or the upgraded phone because at least that feels like winning. But what you're actually doing is shutting off the engines while you're still in the atmosphere. You fall back to Earth and you have to start the launch all over again next month. Have you ever felt this? That what's the point feeling when your savings account grows by a tiny amount after a month of hard work? Tell me in the comments, what is the hardest part for you right now? Is it the low yield rates, the high rent, or just the feeling that the goalpost keeps moving? Let's look at Philly. 5 years ago, Philly was a high performer. He was making $70,000 a year. He was disciplined, or so he thought. He managed to save $20,000. He felt good. He felt like he was finally gaining momentum. But then, the behavioral finance trap of relative deprivation hit him. He saw his friends buying houses. He saw his coworkers driving Teslas. Suddenly, his $20,000 didn't feel like a launch pad. It felt like a down payment on a life he couldn't afford. Philly didn't see himself as an elephant tied to a plastic chair. He saw himself as a successful professional who deserved a reward. He took that $20,000, his hard-earned rocket fuel, and spent it on a wedding and a luxury honeymoon. He told himself, I'll make it back. I'm making more money now anyway. He fell for the ultimate lie. That wealth building is about your income. Philly went back to zero, but it was worse this time. Because he had tasted a higher lifestyle, his cost of living increased. His escape velocity was now higher. He needed more fuel just to get back to where he was. He was exhausted, he was bitter, and he felt like the system was rigged. But here's the surgery part. The system didn't rob Philly. Philly's own money mindset robbed him. He prioritized looking rich over becoming wealthy. He spent his seeds before they could turn into a forest. He looked at that $20,000 as a spending limit rather than a growth engine. Can you see yourself in Philly? Have you ever reached a small milestone like $5,000 or $10,000 only to have an emergency or a celebration wipe it out? That's the gravity wall trying to pull you back. It wants you to stay at the bottom because at the bottom, you are a predictable consumer. At the top, you are a threat to the status quo. Wait, stop. Let's get uncomfortable for a second. Charlie Munger, the billionaire partner of Warren Buffett, once said, I don't care what you have to do. If it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that wasn't bought with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. Why was he so obsessed with that specific number? Was he just a greedy old man? No. He understood the invisible psychology of mathematics. When you have $0, your labor does 100% of the work. When you have $100,000 invested and it grows by 7% a year, that money is now earning $7,000 a year while you sleep. That's nearly $600 a month. That money is now a virtual employee working for you 24/7 without complaining, without taking a lunch break, and without asking for a raise. But here is the tragedy. Getting from $0 to $100,000 takes a massive amount of time because you are doing all the heavy lifting. But getting from $100,000 to $200,000, it takes significantly less time. Why? Because the money is now helping you push. The gurus tell you to manifest wealth. I'm telling you to surrender to the math. The first $100,000 is a bitch because it's a pure test of character. It's where most people quit because they want the dopamine hit of an overnight viral explosion while expecting the rock-solid security of a 20-year veteran without actually putting in the 20 years. But the universe doesn't work that way. The universe demands a sacrifice of your current ego for your future freedom. Let's talk about the FinTalk experts telling you that you can't get rich by saving on lattes. They are partially right, but mostly dangerous. They tell you to focus on increasing your income. Here is the Philly truth. I know people making $500,000 a year who are closer to bankruptcy than a teacher making $50,000. Why? Because they have a zero-sum mindset. Their expenses rise exactly as fast as their income. They are just higher paid passengers in the same car heading toward a cliff. You don't need a side hustle if you haven't mastered your main hustle, which is keeping the money you already make. The first $100,000 isn't built in the boardroom. It's built in the grocery store. It's built in the decision to keep driving the 2018 Toyota when you could afford the 2025 BMW. It's built in the silence of your neighbors not knowing how much money you actually have. Modern society is a machine designed to separate you from your capital. Every advertisement, every social media post, every buy now, pay later button is a vacuum cleaner aimed at your rocket fuel. If you don't have a money mindset that treats every dollar as a future employee, you will be a wage slave until the day you die, regardless of your salary. Are you currently buying status symbols to impress people who don't even like you? Be honest, is that car payment the reason your rocket can't leave the atmosphere? How do you actually do it? How do you reach that $100,000 wall and smash through it? Here is the Philly-approved 4-stage flight plan. Stage 1. The lockdown, $0 to $10,000. This is the hardest stage. You are at maximum gravity. In this stage, you are not a consumer. You are a monk. You need to cut every single vampire expense. No subscriptions you don't use. No eating out 5 nights a week. Your only goal is to prove to your brain that you are in control of your impulses. If you can't save $10,000, you will never be able to manage $1 million. Stage 2. The momentum phase, $10,000 to $50,000. Now the rocket is off the pad. You can breathe a little, but do not, I repeat, do not increase your lifestyle. This is where most people fail. They see $30,000 and think, I'm rich. You aren't rich. You are just less broke. Take that $30,000 and put it into low-cost index funds. Let the invisible psychology of the market start to work for you. Stage 3. The grudge match, $50,000 to $100,000. This is where fatigue sets in. You've been disciplined for a year or two. You're tired of saying no to your friends. This is the boring middle. But look at the math. At $75,000, a 10% market gain is $7,500. That is more than many people save in an entire year of labor. The money is finally starting to help you push. Stay in the game. Stage 4. Orbit, $100,000 plus. You've done it. The gravity has weakened. Your $100,000 is now generating enough returns to cover a portion of your living expenses. Now, the math flips. Getting to $200,000 won't take nearly as much effort as the first $100,000 did. You have achieved escape velocity. At the start of this video, I promised to show you why you feel stuck. It's because you've been trying to fly a rocket while ignoring the laws of gravity. When you hit that first $100,000, something changes in your soul. You aren't a passenger anymore. You are an architect. You stop looking at prices and start looking at opportunity costs. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "Is this worth the labor of my future self?" The $100,000 is not a destination. It is a portal. It is the moment you stop working for money and money starts working for you. It is the moment you finally leave the rat race and enter the world of the 1%. You were never meant to struggle forever. You were just meant to survive the launch. But here is the chilling reality. Even with the plan, most people never reach stage 1. They see the rocket but can't find the fuel. Why? Because they are trapped in a high-status prison. Every raise they get is siphoned off by the system to buy a bigger house or a flashier car. They are victims of modern slavery disguised as success. If you have the architect brain for math, but feel like a passenger in your own career, constantly earning but never actually owning your time, you are suffering from wage slavery. You are being bribed to stay small. If you don't break those golden handcuffs, your rocket will rust on the launch pad. To learn how to reclaim your life and secure the fuel for your first $100,000, watch my deep dive on the career psychology of wage slavery. Click right here to see why your salary is a bribe to make you forget your dreams. I'm Philly, and the real launch starts when you walk out of the cage. I'll see you there.